What's going on, you guys? It's be your boy Scotty by Nature TV, and this is another episode of Yes for the Mess. And it's not really mess, but then again, this whole situation is a mess. And I just decided that I was gonna do a live on this particular topic. I felt like it was my duty to do something like this, mainly because of the fact that my audience are mainly women. Okay, mainly women. Just about, if not all women, honestly. I felt like it would be in my best interest to have this conversation, especially being that it's mainly women, and I just wanted to give women a voice on this particular live. Yes, I will be taking calls. I'll be taking all different stuff like that. Hold on. But yeah, I'll be what was I saying? I'm all out of whack because I was sending the link out. But yeah, I'm gonna take calls. Other female YouTubers can join this if they want to. You know what I mean? Like, this is a conversation that I think needs to be had. And yes, I will be on screen. I'm just getting myself together because I just got home from work about 30 minutes ago, so I'm trying to get myself together. But I have my own thoughts about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I definitely have my own thoughts about this situation. I think that it's very unfair to the women out there that, that it's just crazy. It's crazy to me. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into some things here. We're definitely gonna get some things talked about in this whole situation. So what I'm gonna do first is we're gonna get into some things. I got this article from I think it's called Politico. I think that's the name of it. And it's basically talking about abortion laws by state and where abortions would be illegal. Well, where abortions are illegal since Roe versus Wade had overturned. Okay. Now, this is the United States map or whatnot. So it says abortion remains legal or legal for now in 35 states. Abortion is potentially illegal or soon to be illegal in 11 states, and abortion is illegal most definitely in 5 states. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, you guys. All right, here we go. So, okay, so it says abortion policies in the hands of the states following the Supreme Court's Friday decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. Okay, but it could take months for all of the legal maneuvering to be completed and for the nation to have a more definitive picture over where abortion is legal, said Greer Donnelly, a professor specializing in reproductive health care at the University of Pittsburgh Law School. Okay, so basically, they're saying that it's going to be a real nightmare. All they can think about is abortion law is their only job, and there's some questions that they just can't answer. They said there's only 3 states: South Dakota, Louisiana, and Kentucky, that have laws that immediately ban abortions. So those are the 3 so far. They said Kentucky, Louisiana, and South Dakota. They immediately ban abortions. Most states with so-called trigger laws require the attorney general, governor, or legislator to certify that the court's opinion does indeed overturn Roe, include a delay of up to 30 days before they take effect, or both. In other states, court action will likely be necessary to determine whether states pro-Roe abortion ban can take effect or enjoin laws restricting access to the procedure can be lifted. A process legal experts anticipate could take weeks to months. That means abortion will remain legal, at least in the short term, in places such as Ohio. So that's one. The 3 states with trigger laws also have different exceptions to their near total bans. While they all allow abortions to save the life of the pregnant person, only 5 include exceptions for rape or incest. There's another group of states where pre-roll abortion bans could spring back into effect. For instance, abortion rights advocates in Wisconsin believe that the state's pre-roll ban will likely force abortion providers to shut their doors because of legal uncertainties around the statute of limitations, even though the Attorney General Josh Cow, who is running for re-election this year, has said he would not enforce the state law and has urged local prosecutors to do the same. Okay? So, in so many words, they say abortion will remain legal in remaining 27 states. And then they said at the end of the spectrum are Colorado, New Jersey, Oregon, and Delaware, the 4 states that protect the right to abortion throughout pregnancy. At the other is Florida, where a 15-week ban is set to go into effect in July, where court action could undo state constitutional protections for abortion. In Indiana, where 100 Republican lawmakers have called on Governor Eric I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name right. Okay. So what we're gonna do is now we're gonna talk about the states that we're gonna talk about the states abortion policy. It says abortion policy now up to the states after the fall of Roe. Following the Supreme Court's decision overturning Roe versus Wade, abortion policy is now set at the state level. Abortion is now legal, soon to be illegal, or potentially illegal in 16 states. Okay. So they got all the states. They say Alabama, potentially illegal. Alaska is legal. Arizona is legal for now. Arkansas is soon to be illegal. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, DC, Florida are all legal. Georgia is legal for now. Hawaii is legal. Idaho is soon to be illegal. Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas are all legal. Kentucky and Louisiana are illegal. Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts are all legal. Michigan is legal for now. Minnesota is legal. Mississippi and Missouri are soon to be illegal. Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, and New York are all legal. North Carolina is legal for now. North Dakota is soon to be illegal. Ohio is legal for now. Oklahoma is illegal. Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island are all legal. South Carolina is legal for now. South Dakota is illegal. Tennessee is soon to be illegal. Texas is illegal. Utah soon to be illegal. Vermont, Virginia, Washington legal. West Virginia, Wisconsin potentially illegal. And Wyoming is soon to be illegal. And that's what we got. That's what we got. And I feel sorry. I think that it's completely ridiculous that women are being told what they can and cannot do with their bodies. I feel like it's absurd to tell a woman that they can't terminate a pregnancy. I think that's very foul. I think that that's wrong. I think that is completely disgusting that the Supreme Court is telling women what they can and can't do with their bodies. I've always been pro-choice. I've always been pro-choice. Even when we was in middle school and high school and they asked us what was our opinion on abortion. And I always felt as though women should be able to do something that they want to do in regards to their bodies. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's more to it than just incest. It's more to it than just rape. What if it's a high risk pregnancy? What if they can't carry the baby to term? What if it's a situation where it's like, I'm carrying a baby, it's high risk. If I carry the baby to term, I could pass away. If I carry the baby to term, the baby could pass away. It's certain situations like that. And I just think that it's foul to put women in a certain predicament where they can't make that decision on their own. I think that that's messed up. And, people feel like, well, maybe if they, if some states make abortion illegal, maybe it could cut down on the overpopulation, or it'll force people to strap up and have protected sex. That's not going to force people to do anything. That's not going to stop unprotected sex from happening. It's not going to. It's not going to stop anything. All we know is that it's stopping women from making the choices that they want to make in regards to their body, and it's really ridiculous. I think that it's disgusting to tell a woman that she can't have an abortion. How are you gonna tell a woman what she can and can't have? You know what I mean? Like I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy. It's just like, how can I be against abortions when, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like my own rights can be in question as far as my gay rights. I want to get married one day. And I don't feel like somebody should tell me that I can't get married. So I feel like no one should tell a woman that they can't terminate a pregnancy. So you mean to tell, like, it's crazy to me that they want you to keep these kids, but they don't want to do anything in regards to insurance for the kids. Once they have the kid, they don't give a damn about the children. They don't care about that. They don't give a damn about that. But be quick to, throw, you know, throw kids in foster care and take kids away from folks and all of this other stuff. Like, it's crazy to me. I mean, it's really ridiculous to me. They're also trying to ban condoms and try to make it to where only married couples get access to. What? That's crazy too. You know what I'm saying? It's it, Child, these folks don't care about these kids. They really don't. They don't care. Let me see what this says. The same hateful people who hate unborns are the same ones who live alone and hate their ex spouses and their children. Those children grow up to bring forth hate, violence, and become abusers of society. They're eventually going to criminalize the Plan B pill eventually. That's my thing, too. That's the first thing I thought about as well. I was like, if they're going to stop women from terminating pregnancies, then what about the whole Plan B thing? Like, what about that? And then my thing is, y'all worried about what a woman's body is doing. But what about these gas prices? What about these food prices that's going up? What about rent that's fucking expensive? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about that? It's a lot more important things that's going on. It's a lot of things that we should be focused on instead of trying to tell a woman what to do with her body. They always have focused on the wrong shit. Their minds is always on shit that's completely miscellaneous. It's completely miscellaneous. That whole thing is miscellaneous. Like, we got so much shit going on right now that you want to stop a woman from going to the clinic to do something that is the best thing for her. It's ridiculous. And I wasn't surprised that my state was soon to be legal. I wasn't surprised. I ain't never surprised about nothing that goes on in Mississippi. Never surprised. Church is no longer separated from state. They want everyone to be Christians and they don't want any sex before marriage unless you're in the higher tax bracket. Trying to control something. Trying to control some shit that they don't need to be trying to control. It's crazy to me. These are the same men that had no problem separating children from their parents at the border, leaving them in period. That too is crazy. This is all about white women having abortions. Other groups aren't doing that. White people birth rate is very low. If Trump thought he had it in him to get a second term, he just blew it. The scary part is they overturned something that was in place for over 50 years. Like, what else can and will overturn? Gay marriage, slavery, America, and Trick Daddy. Period. Period. But then you got people that want Trump back in office. And I think it's funny. Oh, I wish Trump, I want Trump back. I want Trump back. A lot of y'all want Trump back because he cut y'all a fucking check, a $1,200 check. That's the only reason. Money talks in this bitch, pretty much. They don't give a damn about what the fuck he really was doing. Like all that bullshit he had going on. He the real reason why COVID is where it at right now, because he was the main person that tried to say that it was a hoax, but all them damn people was dying. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. That's my whole point. That is my whole point. But yet, because he gave y'all a $1,200 check, y'all want him back. He don't give a damn about y'all. He don't give a fuck about black folks nor women. That's why it be so hilarious to me when I hear people say Trump did more for black people than did Obama did. That is crazy. They don't know what they're doing here. They want to keep women from getting abortions. They want to force women to give birth to kids that they don't want. They want women to they want to force women to have trauma kids. Probably a bad way to put it, but it's oh my god. And I feel sorry for a lot of these women because they don't have no control over their own bodies. If they wind up and get pregnant, then what? They can't do nothing about it. They gotta have the fucking baby. A baby they don't even want. There are some women that don't need to be no damn mothers, but they're gonna be mothers anyway because y'all are banning abortions. There's teen pregnancies in this bitch. That's funny. Somebody just mentioned it. It's teen pregnancies. It's just like, are you serious? People like this country is completely backwards, and especially us down south. Cause like I said, I wasn't surprised about Mississippi. Nothing ever surprises me about the state of Mississippi. I'm not surprised by that. I knew that we would be one of the ones that would not make abortion legal. I knew that they would because we're not a progressive set of people. We're not a progressive state. There's nothing that they are willing to do to progress as a state. They want to stay in the 50s, in the 40s, in the 30s. That's where they want to stay. And we wonder why we don't get shit. And then they wonder why people leave to go and make a better life for themselves because they cannot progress here. They can't prosper here because there's nothing here because they don't want to do anything here. It's I wasn't surprised about Mississippi. I wasn't surprised about Arkansas. I wasn't surprised about Texas. I wasn't surprised by none of them. None of them. Tennessee, none of them. I wasn't surprised about anything. I feel like it's your body, your choice, your decision. If you want to terminate a pregnancy, then that's just what it is. I think that it's messed up that you have to do that. Like if you want to have an abortion, you got to go all out of state just to get one. It's not right. It's not right. I'm about to start taking calls now, and I only want women up here tonight. I'm sorry, but I only want to hear from the women because they are the ones that's directly affected by this. So I want uh I want the women to come up here and speak their minds. So what I'm gonna do, I'm about to put the link down there. Like I said, only women. I don't want to hear from no men tonight. I want to hear from some women. If I hit 100 views and if I get 100 people in the chat, I'll be surprised. I'm hovering around 80 right now, but shout out to the new subscribers that could be in the building. If you have not subscribed, please do. I see somebody that's already here, and that's really B. And you're muted once again.
What's up, Scotty? I don't know what's up with me and the mute button over here. What's up, boo?
Nothing much. Hold on. I got a couple of people. It's four of y'all up here now. So I want to know. Damn, it's five now. Damn, it's seven now. Okay, so it's me and a bunch of women up here. Damn. Hold on. It's so many people. It's so many people. I put that link out there. So many folks clicking that damn link, child.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're mad.
I see
I've
y'all
been
mad.
waiting
It's
for that
a lot
link
of
to
I'm
drop.
y'all.
pissed
I've
off.
been waiting.
Okay, so this how we're gonna do. We're gonna go one at a time because it's already a lot of y'all up here now. So I want to know everybody's thoughts on this situation because I thought about it all day when I went to work and we found out that they were overturning the stuff and everything. And I thought about it before I left work, and I said my audience is majority women, 92% women. So why wouldn't I go live and have this discussion with nothing but women? So I'm gonna let Really Be start off with her thoughts and her opinions about this particular topic. I want to know what you think because I'm not a woman. So I can only sympathize. I never understand y'all feelings on this because I'm not a woman. I can only sympathize with you guys. So it's different hearing it from a woman. So I just want a woman's perspective. So go ahead, Really Be.
Um, I'm sorry, I was just reading a comment in the chat. I, I, I saw this coming, and I think a lot of people when we said, "Hey," going all the way back to 2016 when we were trying to tell people, listen, the next president is going to control the Supreme Court. And I don't think people understood the levity of that. I don't think people understood what that meant. And because this has never happened, I think people thought it wouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
As a woman, of course, I'm angry, but I'm also very afraid because I really think that this is a gonna be an avalanche. I think that there are a whole lot of other things we need to be careful about that are coming that could possibly come down. Um, because this was systematically done. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a oops. It didn't. This was systematically done, and I think we need to be very very careful. LGBTQ need to be very very careful. Women need to be very very careful um, of where this is going to possibly take us. We talked about this. Hey Josiah. Hey Boom.
Hey, Josiah. Love
Um,
you too.
we talked about this over on my channel, and it's just I just for me it's just like everybody needs to be very diligent. Please, 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 please. It's midterms. We gotta vote, and we've got to
Mm-hmm.
vote for the right people. We have to be educated voters.
That's
Educated
true.
voters. So I'm gonna shut up and let the rest of your panel talk. I listen.
Okay, E, you're next.
Well, hi, Scotty. Thank you for having me. And really, be I've seen your videos also. Hey,
Oh, thank you,
um,
lady.
first of all, I'm pissed off. I don't want to be nice about it. We don't need to be careful. We need to get mad, and we need to let them know that we are mad. These people who have been appointed by previous presidents, and I know Trump had put three in there. To piggyback off of what Willie B said, it was done strategically. It was done on purpose. The people who put Trump in office, that was his task to do. He had to do that because it was already bought and paid for. This was supposed to happen. Now, these people put on their pants one leg at a time, just like everybody else. And like I said in the chat, and Scotty, this is my opinion and not yours. Something needs to happen, and not playing nice about it. When I'm going to my OB and I'm trying to make decisions, first of all, I can't even get my tubes tied if I wanted to. I have to wait until I reach a certain age because my doctor told me I was too young and my husband may want children. I don't give a damn if a man wants. You see, it's too many choices that belong to me that are being taken away contingent upon what a man may want. And in this society, as modern as we have become, the media and the powers that be still believe that what women do ultimately should be for the satisfaction of a man. And I think that if they really gave a damn about birth control, then these men will be getting reversible vasectomies, because I stopped taking the birth control shot because that was making me gain weight. I don't want to put that in my body. And I feel like if a man can ask me to do that, then I should be able to ask him to go get his balls clipped. You can get it unclipped when you're ready to have some, but it's not going to be just solely upon me. 100% my responsibility to make sure that we don't have children. No, this is a joint venture. You do something too. Do you get what I'm saying, or am I talking?
Yeah.
And then one last thing, because I know it's a full house. These people making the laws, because I saw in the chat people were talking about going out and voting. I blame the Democrats for this just as much as the Republicans, because yes, Trump did it, but if the Democrats were really progressive and really trying to make some shit happen, oh, excuse me, making some stuff happen,
No, you
um,
fine.
they would have. I'm looking to see them move like the Republicans from now on. If you want my vote, I need you to start packing the court. I need you to have a plan B. While we're talking about banning plan Bs, I need the Democrats to do that. I need them to work a little bit harder to make sure that the Republicans can't come in and stage a coup. These people, they're too old for them to be trying to take us back and talk about, well, what the Constitution meant and what our forefounders would have wanted, and they would have been disgusted. I saw that in the interview. They said our forefounders would have been disgusted with us getting abortions the way that we do. Well, listen, this is 2022. It's about to be 2023 in 6 more months. I don't give a damn what the founders would have wanted. You came over here, you stole this land from the indigenous people. Are you kidding me? What they would have wanted, listen, this is a control mechanism. And like somebody put in the chat, they want the white women to keep having children. That's fine. Let the white women have ban their abortions, but don't take away everybody else's, right? Let the white women get out and vote their asses out. But these people need term limits, and everybody over 55 needs to get their ass out of office. And we need to stop only voting. We need to come together as a group and stop only electing Democrats and Republicans, because the people who are really trying to make a difference are the independent party, the Green Party. We need to do more research. But the reason that these people don't get as much shine and as much media attention is because we're always so focused on this divisive two-party system, putting one against the other, and neither one of them have our best interests. We need to come together as a people, get some independent people in there, and get these old ass Christian folks out of the out of office, basically. Sorry, I'm done on that.
Okay. Ranting with Ricardo, you're next.
I'm like, I don't want to cuss on your platform because I don't want this to hurt you, but I'm pissed off. I'm 23 and I woke up and like saw my group chat. My friend sent it to me, and I laid in my bed and I cried for 20 minutes straight. Having kids was never like the goal for me. I've always said if I have kids, I have them. If I don't, I don't. I don't care. Because I'm selfish. I want to live my life. And living my life does not involve kids at this point. Looking at this now, like I've always told people, I'm pro-choice. You can do whatever you want with your body. I don't have a right to tell you what to do with yours because I don't want you to tell me what to do with mine. But at this point, I legally don't have a right to do anything with my body. My doctor cannot legally tell me what's going on with me, because at this point my right to privacy is gone. They did this for a reason. A white man wrote a book about this a long time ago, and this has been talked about since 2016 when this BS first started. White people are becoming the minority. They are no longer the majority. They are becoming the minority. And there are so many things that play a factor into this. White women make up the most people getting abortions because they too either don't want to have children, they already have too many children, and they don't want to bring more children into this world, or for other reasons. And this is a trickle down system, because if you think they are not coming after Loving versus Virginia, which allows interracial sex and interracial marriage, they're coming after that too, because that for them is a problem. because white women and white men are no longer having children with just white men and white women anymore. There's black men, black women, everybody else. Everybody's loving everybody. It's free love around here, and that's not what they're trying to do. And then the fact that you don't be a part of LGBTQ IA plus. Please don't do that, because then you're hindering them from bringing more white people in the world. They don't give a damn about these people. They don't give a damn about these kids. It's all about their white supremacy, because if you were truly pro-life and not pro-birth like I say they are, because you're not pro-life, because let's be clear, if you were pro-life, you would be against, the death penalty. If you were pro-life, you would be against the prison to school to prison pipeline. If you were pro-life, you would care about these kids that are currently in the foster care system, who are being placed in homes where people are doing things to them. You would care about them. If you were pro-life, you would be going to get these children who really need to get out of these homes and stop putting them back with the people who ultimately created them, gave birth to them, and are their biggest downfall. They don't care. They want to push us back to a time where men controlled everything. Wait, cis white men controlled everything. And I don't give a damn about the forefathers, because they didn't even wash their asses correctly. Why would I care about what old white men had to say way back then? I wasn't born. The Constitution should have been something that was rewritten multiple times over. The product of what the forefathers did back then, we see today in their grandchildren, in their great-grandchildren, and generations after that. And if y'all don't think this is a problem for everybody, I had to explain to my mother when she called me and asked me about a situation, and then she asked me, what's wrong with you, because she heard it in my voice. And I said, did you not watch the news? Did you not hear what happened today? I said, at this very moment, I have less rights than my grandmother did. And my grandmother was born in 1947. I have less rights than she did. My sister, who is only 8 years old, has less rights than she did. My niece, who is a year old, has less rights than she did. And I can't take it anymore. For the people who say, oh, voting doesn't matter, and we don't, like, what is our vote going to do? It does a lot. Not just voting in these big midterm elections or the bigger elections for who's going to be president. You have to vote in your state and local elections, because at the end of the day, they make up the rules for your state. And when it comes to like certain states and overturning it, I live in the state of Kansas. Midterm is August 2nd, is when we have to go and vote. We have on our ballot, you can either say yes or no to overturning abortion in our state, which includes not having abortions for women who have become pregnant due to incest or sexual assault. The state of Missouri, which is just like a line over, they just banned it today. If y'all don't think this is, like, for the people who don't think this is a problem, this is a problem, because overpopulation is a problem. The fact that people don't make enough to take care of themselves and children is a problem. And that is why most women, non-binary people, or hell, even trans men have abortions, because they can't take care of themselves and a child. And they would rather not subject that child to the worries of the world and what could possibly happen to them versus not having them. There's a formula shortage. What are you going to feed these children? Some women don't even create breast milk. I don't think people realize that. Some women's breast milk never comes in. I don't care how many children they have. Some women never have breast milk. So where are they supposed to feed their children? There's a shortage on tampons. And that gets taxed to hell. And it's just like, that's a luxury tax on that. This is not a luxury. This is not something we chose to have happen to us every single month. This is our body saying, you didn't get pregnant this month. You're not carrying a child. So we're just going to have to keep doing this until you do. And at this very moment, like I said, you need to go and vote. If you're not already registered to vote in your state, you need to register to vote. You need to be out there every time, every chance there's a moment to vote. You need to be out there, because if you think this is just regular, oh, they're in Washington, it doesn't affect me. No, this affects your state too. You need to be educated about the stuff that is happening. You need to really wake up and pay attention because they're coming after everything. They're coming after same sex marriage, they're coming after contraceptives. Clarence Thomas, he's a coon, sat up there and said, well, we're going to go after contraceptives and same sex marriage next, acting as if he doesn't think they're going to come after Loving in Virginia. Sir, you are married to a white woman who, by what she did on January 6th, should have automatically like got you kicked out and impeached from your job. And when it comes to the Supreme Court justices who lied during their confirmation hearings and said, oh, we support Roe versus Wade. We want Roe versus Wade to stay. We think that's the right of the land. They sat up there and lied, and that's perjury, and they can be impeached. If nobody knew that, they can be impeached for that because they lied. That's all I got. I'm gonna start crying if I say more.
Okay, I'm just let you, calm down for a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and let Desiree go next. So you can go ahead, Desiree.
All right, hey everybody. I know it's emotional right now for everybody. It's just me as well. I definitely feel like it is wrong for them to ban something that is should automatically be a right to us. Like our bodies, literally, when we get pregnant, is shifting. Everything in your body is shifting. Your lungs, your heart, your ribs, everything is shifting, and some women aren't able are not able to do that. They have ectopic pregnancies, which they want to say no. You can still have the baby. We have to do, or we you do if you do, we would have to have a full investigation. Why you didn't have a full investigation for ectopic pregnancy? She nor that baby literally most likely will not survive. They will literally die, and you're putting them at risk. And like the last person said, like literally white women right now are having the most abortions right now. They're literally having the most abortions. That's what they mainly care about and everything. And as for black women, we don't feel safe. We don't feel safe in the hospital when we want to get pregnant. I don't know if you guys remember this YouTuber who's a black YouTuber, like
What happened?
Nicosia. She was a black YouTuber
Uh
here
huh.
on YouTube. She died during pregnancy. She literally
Mm.
died. Her and her child died during pregnancy, like 2 years ago. She was saying that she was having heart issues, like her chest was hurting. Her doctor said no, it's fine, that's normal. Next thing you know, she had a heart attack and she died. So you want me to have a baby and feel safe in the hospital? What you guys don't even listen to me. And people think abortion is an easy decision. It is not an easy decision. It is not an easy decision to do. You're thinking about a lot of things. A lot of women don't actually want to, but they have to because of the circumstance in it. And I want to know why they want to have people to have a baby or rape or incest. When incest, the baby is going to most likely have sometimes have a deformed defect. Some people are not equipped to have a disabled child. Some people are not equipped to that. I don't know why this is. This should be first of all. This should not be a topic of conversation in the Supreme Court. That should not be. My body should not be a topic of conversation. I am 24 going to 25. I know I don't want to have children. If like I know I don't want to have children myself. That's not my thing. That's never been a dream of mine really to have a child. But I have to. They said in some people in some states you literally have to have a child first, and then you have two sides, and then you have to have a mental exam of why you don't want to have children, why you don't want to why you want your tubes tied and everything. Because I want to prevent a pregnancy. I want to prevent it at all costs. And if I do get pregnant, abortion should be on the option. Fortunately, I live in New York State that does not have the ban on there. I still able to get to have an abortion, but that's for other states. I feel sorry for the women who probably has to save up to the last penny to go travel to other states that allow it. there. Now California actually has been now as a safe zone now for women. They no longer they will not help any other states do an investigation. They would not they as a safe zone for women. Hopefully mine is becoming a safe zone as well too. But like I said, we're like black women, this is gonna affect black women and people of color the most because we don't have the best of health care here. We don't have that. And here it's just it's a shame that we're because the thing is we're still gonna have abortions. It's gonna be illegal abortions. We're still gonna have it. It's gonna be at dirty places in a back alleys and everything. It's gonna be instead of the safest zone place. We're gonna have to get it in an illegal way, and it shouldn't have to come to that option. But unfortunately, it has. I don't know why these grown white men are so worried about a woman's body. I've never understood that mindset. Why are you so worried about the next woman's body when you know you cannot have children yourself? You can't have a children. You can't push a baby out. You don't know how that feels. So I don't know why it's going through their mind like that. What possesses you to do that? I always wonder why is this grown men who's in their 50s and 60s discussing women's bodies. I They want to have control over so much. Even I'm just like I just don't understand. People in even the Supreme Court in the 70s had more common sense than the people who is in the Supreme Court now,
Mm.
and they were more misogynistic than now. It was more
That's true.
misogynistic then. So like I said, it doesn't make no sense, but it makes sense in their mind. And then I hear some women talking about this right here since they overturned this right here will make women close their legs and open up the Bible. What? Close my legs? First of all, if I want to have my legs wide open to the moon, that's my business. But if I want to have a baby, that's my business. That's what people need to understand. How about you mind the business that pays you?
Period.
Exactly. And I then the most and as the thing, I used to have a friend who actually worked in an abortion clinic. The white people that didn't actually come in during the business hours. They came at the beginning before it was open to the public, at the end of the day after it was closed. So the white people, these white congressmen, they were having their daughters who were having unwanted pregnancies. They would have their daughter. They would force their daughters to have an abortion. So it will affect them as well too. But you know what? I got work tomorrow. I literally was crying. I wasn't crying, but it did not make my day today. It's made my day upset. But I'm gonna hop off. I hope everybody try to have a nice night. I see y'all later.
All right. Thank you, Desiree.
Mhm.
Two feisty. You're next up.
Hi everybody. Scotty, thank you for letting us come on. Listen, this is why I ride for you, Scotty. This is
Thank
why
you.
I ride for you because you really do be caring about us. I just want to applaud all the women. I know it's been a very emotional day for quite a few people. I just want to applaud everybody for coming up here and speaking their piece. I want to be clear because most of the points I was going to make was made prior to me, so I 100% agree with everybody before me. People are confused. They think this is a religious issue. It's not. This is not a matter of the Bible. This is not this honestly, it's not even really politics. White men are concerned about becoming the minority. And they
Mm-hmm.
want these white girls to have these babies at all costs. That is what this is why we are here. Although it is affecting all demographics of women, they want these white girls to have these babies. And y'all not
Mm-hmm.
having these babies. They don't care if you having this baby with your cousin. They don't care if you were raped. They don't care about no birth defects. They want y'all to push these babies out and figure it out when they get here. That is why we're here. This is why they were even discussing overturning a 50-year-old law. What Desiree was referring to earlier, medical racism. Yes, there is a extremely high mortality rate postpartum for Black women.
Mm-hmm.
Several people have almost died and have died. I know someone personally that did not make it postpartum. Her kids lived. She had a set of twins, but she did not make it. She had already had a little girl. So now she has three kids in this world and with no mother. Her family is having to figure it out. Serena Williams almost
Mm-hmm.
died as a result of medical racism.
Yep.
And despite the fact that she is a rich woman and a celebrity, in that hospital, her doctor was not listening to her. And she had to use her power as a celebrity because what you cannot be is the hospital that let Serena Williams die. She
Mm.
had to use her celebrity to make somebody listen to her. You don't know my body better than I do. And had she have not done that, she would have had a blood clot that traveled to either her heart or her brain, and she would not be here. This is what Desiree was referring to. I want to be clear about this too. I think this goes beyond voting. These votes mean absolutely nothing to the powers that be. If y'all really want to make a dent, we need to go after these corporations that's contributing to these campaigns. They shouldn't be able to afford to campaign and get in office. Ultimately, these companies that we are supporting and giving our money to, we need to stop giving our money to them. When they no longer have the capital resources to campaign the way they do, then they won't be getting elected. They won't even make it to the ballots. I think that is where it starts because this country ultimately cares about money. They don't care
That's
about
it.
us. They don't care about your rights. That and this is also too. It's so funny that this decision came through because I've had a conversation earlier this week and I was saying I don't play politic games. I understand politics, but I don't play in politics because I feel like despite Democrats and Republicans and them going back and forth, when the cameras cut off, they all going out to dinner together. They all going out to dinner on our dime and they having a good time using taxpayers' money. I think it's all just a show on camera. But I ultimately cannot align myself with Republicans, despite the fact that I know Democrats aren't that much better, because on any given day, at any moment, Republicans will just wake up and decide to take your rights for no reason. For all the issues that are existing in 2022 that are really affecting everybody across the board, your concern is about who can have a baby. That is the biggest issue right now that the Supreme Court has spent months discussing. I can't align myself with a party that feels that is a concern. Also, I want to be clear about this too. Several states, especially Texas, because I hear people saying women are going to have to go to other states to get abortions. No, Texas has already made it clear they are criminalizing women who feel like they can travel to other states, get the abortion, and come back.
Yep.
That's not happening.
Are
You're
you
going to jail.
serious?
Yes, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
jail.
Yep.
Not only that, Scotty, but they also are making it to where if you suspect someone you know has had an abortion, you can call and report them like a little hotline or something.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can call and snitch on them and possibly sue them. I don't mean
They
to
are
cut.
making this very clear how this is going to go. So that is not going to be an option for everybody. You're not getting
And
getting on no plane,
you
flying,
get
getting
a
your
ten
abortion, and coming
thousand
back
dollar
home.
bounty.
It's not
You can get
happening.
$10,000 if you turn somebody in.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. There
Mm-hmm.
is also a reward if you turn someone in that has had an abortion. That's also what's happening. They are
Uh,
they are making it hard across. They want these girls to have these babies.
they do. Also, they're criminal. Like they're putting felony charges on women. Say a woman has a miscarriage, and she just had a miscarriage out of nowhere. Like she did nothing. She wasn't trying to force it to happen. It just happened out of nowhere.
Yep.
If it seems suspicious to them, even though a miscarriage is a miscarriage, if it seems suspicious to them, they're putting felony charges on them and they will be throwing them in prison for a lengthy sentence.
And that's for those girls, and excuse me, that's for the women. I say girls just as a my vocabulary. I apologize for anybody that's offended, but that is for women who think, well, maybe if I take a little bit extra medication or force a miscarriage, that is for those women that think they're going to try to do some at home, abortion, and it's not going to show up on any test or something. They'll just think it's a, unfortunately, the girls who like, throw themselves down a flight of stairs or anything like that, that's for those women who think that that's going to be something that they can do to not have these babies. They're criminalizing any type of way that you feel like you cannot have a pregnancy full term and give birth, so that they're going to force you to have these babies. Texas is spearheading that campaign. So it really is a serious situation. Like I said, they don't care about incest, they don't care about rape, they don't care about any birth defects, ectopic pregnancies. They don't care about none of that. They could care less. You're gonna have these babies. That is it.
Um,
Um, I'm
I'm
sorry. Go
sorry.
ahead.
I also wanted to point out that for y'all states, y'all really have to learn the laws. Y'all got to figure out what's on the ballots, but y'all really have to pay attention to the age of consent law, and then what age you can get married at, because some states are making the age of, like, they are completely lowering the age of consent, and they are also lowering the age that someone can, like, legally get married.
And I do believe that's because they are banking on teenage pregnancy, helping the population. They don't want parents to be able to take their 14-year-old daughters to quote unquote not ruin her future anymore. They're tired of that as well. Like I said, I
There
just think it comes down to coming after these corporations. I think it goes beyond voting.
there is
And I'm hoping we can all come together. As long with the men, I really wish I saw more men being outraged, because as much as we see men whine about paying those
they
$36 a week child support, because they whine
y'all
about the $36,
they want
you
about
should be just as mad.
$18.
You should be just as mad, babe.
They
Because if
should
these
be.
girls gotta have if these girls gotta have their babies, then you best believe some of y'all are gonna help take care of them. And we taxing those paychecks. You should be mad too.
Hmm. Big
You should
mad.
be mad too. The worst part about all of this, do y'all really think these politicians not getting ready to take these interns and these mistresses to get their abortions?
Oh, they're already speaking out about it. Somebody already put it on Twitter. It was like, if any of the politicians, anyone in the Supreme Court, anyone who's ever had a powerful position in the government, you've been a mistress or they paid for you to have an abortion, you can email me here. And one girl said to, I forgot what politician this was. She said, "Hey, your son just made me take a Plan B." And another girl up under her said, "Yeah, we should talk about this because he made me take one too."
Mm.
So it's all coming out. Like,
I'm looking forward to it.
y'all, even if they think that, hey, I'm going to be able to get my mistress to have an abortion, you're not, because you make the laws for your state. And even if you figure out how to pay someone in another state to do it for you, it's still not going to work, because at this point they're going to start keeping these children just to spite you, even though it's messed up. I don't want to cuss on here, but it's messed up, because I don't believe that I've always believed that some people are meant to have children and some people are meant to be parents. Not everybody's meant to be a parent, not everybody's meant to have children. Unfortunately, when it comes to what you can't change about your physical body. And for the women, or for the couples who use IVF as a way to have their children, yeah, that's no longer a thing for you.
Well, before I allow Crystal J to say her piece,
Mhm.
my thing is this. Like I said earlier, before I started letting people come up, like it's a whole lot of stuff that's going on right now that they could be focused on, especially the gun laws. But y'all are so focused on what a woman does with her body. But whatever. Go ahead, Crystal J. Crystal J, you're next.
Scotty, when she gets done, can I say something? I don't want to cut anybody off.
Yeah, but yeah, you can. I'm trying to see. Well, hold on. Well, since she hasn't came to the mic yet, let me just allow Danny and Miss Maddie to say their piece too, because they've been waiting as
No
well. So,
problem. No problem. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah.
y'all two, y'all can unmute yourselves and y'all can speak.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Okay. I'll go because I'm probably one of the older people that's even on here. I'm 43. And like I'm borderline like too old to have kids, but it's like it's the principality for me. Because
Mhm.
first of all, old white men are the devil. Like let's just get that out the way. This country was not even set up for us. Were considered 3/5 of a person. Like they never had it for us. We're not protected by anything in the Constitution, you know, Bill of Rights, whatever. But it's like we took on as a country saying that we progressed so far when really we haven't. This isn't just like, control, like religion versus, secular stuff, state and, religion versus church and state or whatever. This is about class and money because the population for white people, they're shrinking. They're going to be a minority in the next like 30 years. And it's like they're afraid that once another minority, black people, Hispanic people, their race are increasing, that they go turn around and treat them the way they've treated us. They're like terrified of that. So they're doing everything in their power to fix elections and rig and stuff. So we never like the redistricting, everything to keep us in a minority voting, being able to vote wise. And it's the hypocrisy for me also that the people that's all they took our slogan, my body, my choice. When they didn't want to get vaccinated, it was my body, my choice. But when we were saying we want to be able to handle our reproductive health, then it's a problem. And then the fact that they're like,
Boom.
they care about babies so much, all the babies, it's God's precious gift. But it's like when that baby gets here, that's when you stop caring because you don't want to pay for food, shelter, healthcare, education, none of that. So it's like what like this whole thing that they're trying to say that this is a moral issue or a religious that shouldn't even be on some discuss because your religion has nothing to do with my right. Because I'm wondering would the same people be saying that if we had a majority Muslim, you know, religion in this country and we were living under Sharia law or whatever, would they have that same energy, you know? And it's just like I'm just sick of people, especially these fake Christians, trying to legislate morality.
Yeah,
Just because
call
you
the fake
say,
Christians out. Call them out, honey. Call them
because it's
out.
like my best friend, like I mean, we've known each other like 25 years. She's one of them born and bred, go to church every Sunday, Sunday school, all that type of stuff. And for the longest time, she was like, I just don't think girls should get, abortions. And I'm like, why? Why is that your business? She's like, well, they should be more responsible. You shouldn't use abortions as a form of birth control. And I'm like, is that really what you think? That people just wake up one day and say, no, I don't think I want to have this baby and just go on to the clinic. That's not how this works. Like half the time, the people aren't on birth control because they don't have health care because they can't afford it. Like you don't know what people's situations are. People are going to have sex regardless, number one. But it's like then you want to teach abstinence in schools. You won't provide condoms. You won't do none of the stuff to help prevent and educate kids on what can happen and all this type of stuff. But then you say, well, I just say stop them from having abortion. It's like you can't do that. Like you're not giving people realistic choices. And it's like the white people, the whole thing about them having, their population, it's like they don't want their girls, their white women to stop having babies because they want to keep their numbers up. But they find with, they always got billboards in black neighborhoods saying, all this life is precious, don't abort your baby. Because they need somebody on the lowest part of the totem pole to still work in their factories and clean their house and go to their war because they don't really care about black lives. Clearly, we know that. But that's the only thing they can control. Like they can't control our minds, so they go and try to control our actions. And yeah, I'm like, I'm upset, but I'm not surprised at none of this stuff. You know, I should be like, more outraged, but it's like I saw this coming. when Trump got in, and it's like they started playing with the holding seat, like from Obama for the Supreme Court, like all this type of stuff. We knew it was coming, but I think now when it's actually real and happening and people feeling it, now they want to do something. I'm like, where were you, in 2016? Like when we were trying to tell you, you don't have to like Hillary Clinton, but black men, they like, I don't want to, that be trying to tell me what to do. I don't want no woman running the country. She might get on her period and get bad or something. Dumb stuff like that. And it's like, here we are. And that's what it's like. I told the men in my family, I don't ever want you to say that elections don't matter. They go do what they want to do anyway. Or, they already figured out who go win, and they put them in there. I'm like, when it finally starts touching people, that's when they want to have action. But it's like, we have to stop all that. We have to take this moment and check ourselves and our people around us and say, look, this ain't just about, them. They only still give, Section 8 and food stamps because majority of white people was on that. But it's like now when y'all go start touch the stuff that might affect you, where you have to like beg your boss to, be on birth control or whatever, because they're like they said earlier, they're coming out the birth control too. It's like they already had it, like where certain like Christian so-called universities, hospitals, or whatever, they wouldn't provide birth control on their health care plan. And it's already, pharmacists and doctors, whoever, they can refuse to sell you Plan B if that's against their religion. That type of stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like now, everybody's awake. We got everybody's attention. Go to your friends, your family members, even the ones that it's going to be hard to reach, and tell them, we go all get together as a family and we go and vote. And then we can go and do whatever we want to do. Because elections have consequences and we paying for it right now. That's it. I'm sorry.
That's a word. That's a word. That's a word. That's a word. Okay, Danny and Crystal J, y'all can go.
Hey Scotty, this Crystal J. I'm pissed about the everything's going on because on my Facebook stats I put on there this: my body, my choice, my decision. And I agree with what the previous ladies was saying. With voting, I always tell people you just can't wait till a president is, getting ready to be elected. You have to start out with your home state, with Mississippi. Me, myself, I had my first and only child at 17. I knew right then and there having that child, I love my son to death, don't regret him for nothing, that I didn't want no more of him. But I was told by a doctor that no, you have to wait till at least you're 21 and at least have two. I'm 37 right now, but now you're telling me once that I got myself situated, finally financial situated by moving to a whole new state, which is from Mississippi to Texas, which of course another red state, but better financially for what I'm doing. So you were basically telling me that I couldn't do what I wanted to do with my body, but if I was to have a baby, had to go on welfare, had to go on food stamps, you would have something to say. Minimum wage in Mississippi is $7.25.
Period.
$7.25. And thank God I had my parents and my older sister and brothers helping me, with my child, because $7.25 with a high school diploma trying to go to school, how far was they going to get me with a child? And, people saying that, oh, well, you could take birth control. I don't want to do that to my body. I don't want to have that in my body. Or you could not have sex. Get fucking real. It's 2022. Who's not fucking at this, time and age?
I am.
Right. So you can't tell me what I need to do with my body. And it just pisses me off because we go through enough as a women. Now you're saying this shortage on formula, tampons, a doctor telling you, oh no, at 18, I knew I didn't want to have no more kids after my son because it just was a lot. I went through postpartum depression. It was a lot. So I'm like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. I don't want to be a statistic. I want to finish high school, which I did. I got my associate degree, my bachelor's degree, my master's, and being on birth control. I mean, I did it because I didn't want no more kids. So I had to have this enter my body, not by choice. I just had to, because either you can't get your tubes out or you have that risk of getting pregnant. And it was also clear that I was able to get pregnant. So I always tell people, like, in Mississippi, we have people that's been in office, I don't know, since the goddamn 50s and 60s. It's 2022. Get your old ass out here, because your mind frame still probably is the white fountain and the color fountain. After a certain, like, it's a every what the president can only be elected for 2 terms. It should be the same thing with Congress. That's why I tell people. I told my son, once he turned 18, we're going to go to the courthouse so you can get your voter registration card so you can vote. This is important, and you're going to vote locally. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just saying you have that right. Your ancestors died for you to have that right. Use it. So when Trump got elected, I ain't even gonna lie, I talk shit because I felt like, cool, hell, I didn't vote for him. So y'all talk shit about his crazy ass. But with this right here, it don't really piss me off, because as someone that was stuck between the decision where abortion was a choice for me, nobody shouldn't have been able to tell me, especially a man, no, you're forced to have this baby. And it pisses me off. I'm getting upset, so I'm trying to calm my nerves down, but it just pisses me off because it's like, you're not doing nothing. 7.25 for minimum wage is a fucking joke, for anybody, even for a high school dropout, high school, person. I mean, a high school child. It's a fucking joke. But then you're saying, okay, you want to talk shit about us, oh, where that all they want to do is be on welfare, get food stamps, eat collard greens and fried chicken. But at the same time, you're putting it out there to take for people, because they really want to look at it as they're black folks, you're putting it out there, but you're not doing nothing, nothing. Like you say, these southern states are a fucking joke. And I'm like, I feel like if Georgia can flip to blue, as everyone else previously said, we need to get together. Like, we have to start voting from locally all the way, because voting, I don't care what nobody says, voting matters. How long was the South known as a red state? Most of the time, the people being running for president didn't even come to the South, because they automatically knew they had Mississippi, they had Louisiana, they had Texas, they had Georgia, they had Florida. So they really did campaign for those states. Maybe for Florida, because Florida can be a flip state. But it shot the hell out of them that Georgia actually flipped. So you can't tell me, oh, well, my vote ain't gonna matter. If you think like that, then how many more people think like that? Then when shit not going the way, the funding is getting cut, because to be honest, I hate being, in a situation where they're considered middle class. I'm too broke to qualify for stuff like the rich folks, but damn it, I make too much money to qualify for, what they say, the poor side. So you just in a fucked up situation. I'm sorry to keep cussing because I'm just upset. I'm gonna try to use
I
different words.
understand.
But it just pisses me off. And that's why I'm trying to get my son, he's and he's in junior college. He took a trade. I'm trying to get him to move to Texas, because I'm like, in Mississippi, it's not gonna happen for you. And I hate to say that, because I was born in New Orleans, I was raised in Mississippi, and I moved to Texas, a year ago. Next month it'll be a year. And it's like, it's crazy. I had to move 2 states over to finally get some type of financial security. In my last job, I was a freaking supervisor, and the insurance that we had fucking sucked. Like, it was like, I can't even afford to get sick, if that makes any sense. Even with insurance, I can't even afford to get sick. And for them to take away my right, this is my fucking right, because it's my body, it's my choice, it's my decision. It just pisses me off, because you don't have that fucking right. Women, like they say, have a choice sometimes. What if that person is raped? You say, oh, well, you got to have this baby. Then your rapist, as fucked up as it is, he has parental rights to a child that he took, he forced this child upon you. You didn't want to get fucking raped. Then you got a choice. Well, what about the husband that got to choose between his wife dying and his child living? What about the little girl that, she didn't ask to be raped by somebody in her family, but she ended up pregnant? So what the fuck are you saying? Because, like the other women previously said, they been knew what they was going to do, but, they didn't give a fuck about all the other stuff that came along with it. I feel like this. I don't been with some of my friends with them who have the abortion because Mississippi, you had to go up there 24 hours advance. Somebody had to drive you home. They made it difficult, but it was still legal. I think at that time they only had one abortion center. I went with two of my friends. I didn't judge because it wasn't my place to judge. You can't pick and choose what the fuck you want to choose out the damn Bible.
That's right.
I wasn't gonna choose it. Like I said, they, well, how you feel about me, baby. That's your decision. You have to live with that decision regardless. That has nothing to do with me. You asked me to take you up here. That's what I'm doing. I'm not about to give you a speech of why you should do it or why you shouldn't do it because it's your decision. And I know someone else is waiting, so I'm just gonna cut short. But basically, I'm just like the government is getting too much control. But my brother or my son, I don't think he gotta wait to get two babies before he can have a vasectomy. And knock on wood, he did break the cycle. He graduated high school without making me a grandma. Because this Mimi just don't babysit right now. So yeah, I'm not gonna babysit y'all. I love my son to death, but I told him, I said, when you come to Texas next month, you better not get a girl pregnant, cause you better tell him my mama don't babysit now.
I
And
know that's right. I told my brothers the
I
same
was playing with
thing.
the baby for a little while, and I was spoiling him or her riding. They can get anything off my children's house card. But me keeping her, oh no, nah, Momo got a date baby. Well, not Momo. Mimi got a date baby.
I know that's
Hmm.
right.
You
But
know
I'm
the
gonna let
kids
the
can.
next person speak. And thank you, Scotty. I've been watching you. My first time watching you was when you did the review of Basketball Wives, when you when Evelyn and OG got into it, and you was
Oh,
like, you had the, what you call it, the thing. Oh my God, I can't think of it. The it's not a blowhorn, is it?
it was
I
some
don't
tissue.
know.
I used the tissue as a bullhorn. Yeah.
Yeah, you use that, and I've been following you ever since then. I've been following you. I've been following Color Me Pink. I knew when you moved, and then it shocked me because I'm like, what is this? So you really have gave me a laugh, and I don't get offended when you be saying them bitches because I'm like, shit, I feel the same way, Scotty. Fuck them bitches. So thank you for letting me speak my piece. And I agree with what the previous lady said. It's just fucked up. But we, all of us, if you have kids that's able to vote, y'all get these babies to vote. Like my son did it. And I asked him, I was like, well, are you happy that you voted? He was like, yeah. And then I said, okay, then. And he was like, Ma, and I was like, what? He said, I didn't vote for Trump. I said, well, baby, choo go to Applebee's. But all right then, y'all. I'll let the last person go.
All right. Thank you, Crystal J.
You're welcome.
Danny is next, and then really be and shout out to YB who's up here right who's up here right now. I'm gonna let Danny go because she been waiting, and then I'm gonna let really be and YB go. So go ahead, Danny.
Hey, Scotty, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's a little. It sounds a little muffled, but I can hear you.
All right. How about now? How about now? Is that better?
It's still a little muffled, but we just gonna have to work with it, child.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I have so many thoughts on this because this really affects everything in every aspect of life, and we need to understand that this is all white supremacy, and we need to understand that just because something might not seem to directly speak to race, that doesn't mean that it isn't rooted in white supremacy. Because a lot of the control of women's bodies can go back historically be traced to slavery. A lot of
Tree.
homophobia historically traced to slavery, right? There's so many things that is rooted in this concept that white people, European derived people, are superior and are more deserving than anybody else, and their values are more deserving than anybody else. But I wanted to speak on something because it's been said multiple times that that white women are not having babies, right? And that's very true. Young people in general are not really having babies like that for obvious reasons. Look at the world that we live in. Look at the economy. Look at the fact that we're not making livable wages. A lot of people are just not comfortable with bringing children into this, right? But we also need to understand how this implicates black women and black people with uteruses, because I want to make sure that we understand that, uteruses are not exclusive to women, trans men, non-binary people. This is very intersectional. But I want y'all to bear with me because I'm gonna try to break it down. All right. One thing that I find really annoying about the hoteps, how they're always crying about how queerness in the black community is threatening to the state of the black family, because honestly, there's nowhere in history where a non-heteronormative society has suffered low birth rate. I mean, if that was true, then Rome wouldn't have existed for so long. But one thing that I
Exactly.
know, but one thing that I know for a fact that has contributed to lower birth rates in societies is the access that women have to education, right? And this is because educated women, for lots of reasons, tend to have more access to resources, more access to women's health, all these things, and therefore they tend to have more control, or it's easier for them to access or express agency over their bodies and have more control over their bodies. And that's not to say that educated women are not having children, but they have more agency to say, okay, I only want to have two children, that's it. I want to have three children, that's it. I only want one child, and that's it. Or I want to adopt, or I don't want any children. So they tend to be able, because of their positionality in society, just have more control over their bodies. And while it is clear that they want to keep white women barefoot and pregnant, they want to keep white women out of the colleges for this very reason, we need to understand that black women are the most educated demographic in the US right now. Black girls in schools are outperforming the other kids academically and extracurricularly in high school. And this is why this matters to black folks. Let's take it all the way back to slavery, right? We know what the slave owners would do to the black female slaves. And Scotty, I'm not going to say it because I don't want anything to happen to the video or the channel, but we know, right? Um, in order to enforce the superiority of white people and therefore keep the system of slavery going, because they were making money off of our bodies, right? The status of children depended on the status of the mother. And a lot of us know this. Some of us were taught this in school. And this means that if the child there is a slave, then the child is automatically considered a slave and considered not free, regardless if their father was a white man or the slave owner or whatever, right? But this means that this means that slave owners could attack. I don't want to say it, but they could take advantage of these black women, force them to have children, rip those children away from them, and sell them off to make a profit. And that means that taking advantage of black women in this way was financially incentivized. Slaves were worth 40,000, 50,000 in today's dollars a pop. Think about how evil slave owners probably looked at that and said, "Oh, that's easy money." It's crazy. So let's take this back to 2022, right? When black women are the most educated demographic. If black women are the most educated demographic, then they're a part of the body of women who tend to, in society, be able to exert a little bit more control over their bodies and have more agency. Which, but when women in general they don't have control over their bodies, it's harder for them to achieve stability, whether financially, be able to go for the jobs they want, housing. This affects a lot of things, right? When women end up having babies and being forced to have babies when they're not ready or when they're not prepared, this affects their life chances. And that means that they're wanting black children to be born in these unstable conditions. They want these children um, to have harder access to good education because, again, they're born in these unstable conditions. In the event that black women don't have control over their bodies, it's harder for them to have access to good education and options for them to achieve socioeconomic mobility when they become adults. And when this happens, that means that black children will grow up into adults who will be forced to work jobs that will definitely exploit them, while these white children will have access to better jobs, better opportunities to achieve wealth, while our children will be exploited and they will remain at the bottom of the labor force and the socioeconomic spectrum. This is something that really reinforces basically racial capitalism. So it's really important to understand that not only do we live in capitalism, we live in a capitalism that wasn't designed for us to be successful. And that means that no matter how much we push entrepreneurship, no matter how much education we get, this system was inherently designed to keep us out. And that's not saying don't start your own businesses or don't go for these opportunities, but it was inherently designed to keep us out. And we have to understand that capitalism as it exists in the US is not for us, and therefore is not going to be the thing that liberates us. And I'm gonna finish by saying that I want to encourage y'all to pick up the 1619 project. I think it's by Nicole Hannah Jones. You can find it in Barnes and Noble. You can probably find it off of Apple Books, because it really breaks racial capitalism down, and it breaks down specifically in chapter 2 about how this idea of control over women, no matter black, white, whoever, how control over women's bodies um, really started with slavery and really started as a mechanism to make sure that they can enforce the superiority of white folks and the inferiority of black folks. And that's really all
Can I
Okay.
jump in real quick? Can I jump in real quick to follow up on what she just said?
Yeah, go ahead.
um, like it's an old saying. I think it was from LBJ. Lyndon, the president, LBJ. I think that's his. What LBJ? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
his name.
Lyndon B. Johnson.
He
Yeah.
said, like you can convince, a white man to, pick his own pocket if you convince him that he's better than a black man. It's like that's the problem with this country. It's classism because it's more poor white people than it is rich white people. If they like stop with the white supremacy, thinking just because their skin is white that they're superior and better than us, and see that they're being exploited too, we could take this country back the right way. We could like vote. It'll be easy. But just because white people have been, conditioned, taught from, cradle that they're better than everybody, it don't even matter if you living in a trailer park in, some, random tornado state or whatever. It's like, long as they have that mentality, the class system is going to be set where it's at. Because like she said, this country was set up a certain way. It was not set up for us. It was set up for a white Christian male landowners. That's the whole thing. And it's all about who's on top gets to set the rules.
Mm.
That's it. That's all I had.
All right. Really B. Really
So,
B and YB.
oh, can you hear me? I'm not muted, am I?
You good.
You know,
For once.
I'm good for mute. Shut up. um, I just wanted to just touch base on some of the things that people have said. So first of all, ranting with Ricardo, I understand exactly how you feel. I feel your passion. A couple of things I just wanted to say is this whole idea of the medical racism that is rooted in slavery. I was trying to find the book, but a friend of mine wrote a book about black women, well, black people in general, were just felt they had this idea that we could withhold our pain threshold was so much higher than theirs because of course they were so delicate, and that is why it's rooted in slavery. There were actual medical experiments done on black women, not giving them anesthesia when they were giving birth, or giving them, I mean, back then it wasn't called anesthesia, but not giving them anything during birth, performing, you know, medical operations on women without giving them the same, you know, things to comfort them as a white woman. So that is rooted, that is deeply rooted in the medical mentality. And it's a stereotype that has lasted since slavery. So I just implore all Black women, like one of the callers said, to be very proactive in your voice when you are going to the doctor, when you are dealing with anything, surgeries or anything of that nature. Yep, Serena Williams absolutely spoke on this. But it's something that we as Black women have to be very mindful of, especially as we go through anything medical. So I just wanted to touch base on that. And the other thing I wanted to say was, I'm sorry, but this is really Beyonce. I wrote it down now. I lost my train of thought. But the other thing I wanted to say was, it was the medical piece, and ranting with Ricardo. Be We do still have more rights than your grandmother. I know you're upset, you're passionate, but I want us to walk away on something positive. We absolutely lost a lot today as women. But remember, women of the 1950s couldn't have bank accounts without their husband's permission. Couldn't get credit card. Well, credit cards weren't around in the 1950s. Couldn't own land. Couldn't own businesses. Like, there were a lot of things. So I want us to walk away with something positive and have something positive to stand on as we walk through this. But yeah, I don't know. I get frustrated with when I hear people make comments about, not you, I'm not talking about Rant with Ricardo now, I'm just talking about in general. When I read, well, you're right, they may try to take it. You're absolutely correct. You're right. Don't speak too soon. You're right. Let me knock on some wood when I say those things. But it's very frustrating to me when because I have a political mind, right? I see things. I'm a political scientist. So I see things politically, and so it just frustrates me when people want to, like you said, want to make this a religious issue, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm loving what I'm hearing from your panel, because I feel like they get it. Like, your panel gets it. You know what I'm saying, Scotty? They get it. They understand the deeper where this is, and the deeper idea of what's really happening with this. I'm gonna stop because I had something else, but it's gone now. When I remember, I'll just put it in the chat. Go ahead,
Okay.
YB.
Go ahead, YB.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing tonight?
We good.
What's up,
Good
Scotty?
evening.
Great conversation tonight. I had to come in and give my little 2 cents, child.
Okay, boo, come on through.
We ready to hear.
Well, I'm actually just gonna. Someone, I forget exactly who it was. I already kind of really touched on some very important points that I just want to reiterate in my own perspective. First of all, I want people to understand, for the longest, nothing, when you really look at the laws, everything, again, we came into this country stolen. Not everything that was created not with us in mind. I think we've already established that here tonight. Everything that was created was for the succession of white people and their generational wealth, and the disparaging, and to disparage Black and brown people. Now, there was a conversation, a supposed whistleblower talked about several years back. Apparently, there's a committee that was put together many moons ago that works for the White House off the books. They keep up with the data to show how we do the census and things of that nature. They also do their own type of census to show how many white people are still around versus how many Black and brown people are still around. So it was said that in one of the room conversations that the committee stated that, child, y'all better get it together, because in about 20 years, the minority class is going to be the ruling class. White people will basically be null and void. So we all know white people love self-preservation, child. They'll do anything. They'll kill, steal, all the things of the things in order to remain the sole proprietors of power. So with that in mind, they've come up with different ways to try to slow the birth rates of the Black and brown community and increase the birth rates of the white community, because we all see now that white women don't really like having birth like that. They don't really enjoy it. They'd rather just do their own thing, whatever. So they notice that. So if you notice, again, everything is a mind fuck, and everything is already pre-thought about. Everything is a very sinister, nasty plan, again, to keep white people in power. So what they did was they create little situations to, again, increase the birth rates. If you notice, The southern regions were attacked first with that abortion law several years back. I believe while Trump was still in office. They attacked the southern states for the obvious reasons. These people care more about animals, unborn children. They don't care how they were conceived. They don't care about your sexual assault stories. They don't care about none of that kind of stuff. While other people are running through schools, gunning down children, child. We're out here doing all these sinister, evil things. But why is this particularly, and a lot of other things that keep the black and brown communities down, why are those things hit and looked at as more important in these conversations? When we have global warming, we have all these diseases that are spreading around, we have all of these things that are literally going to destroy humanity. But why are these the topics of conversations? When we talk about race, when we talk about prejudice, when we talk about abortions, when we talk about all of these things, it caters to a larger narrative. We talked about earlier, I heard someone speak about the workforce. They want people, they don't care if there's 8 billion people on this planet or not and it's overcrowded. They need more people for the workforce, but they don't want their white people doing the work. They want the black and brown people to do the work while their white children and their generations benefit off of the hard slave labor. Hello, God. We've been dealing with that for centuries now, for eons in this raggedy ass world that we live in. Everything is not a mistake. It is perfectly designed to continue to work off the backs of black and brown people while white people sit around and collect the check and continue to live. Look at what they did in the pandemic. Black business boomed. The girls don't want to work fast food no more. The girls don't want to do none of these things no more. No one wants to be involved in hard work anymore. So when the pandemic happened and there was the black business, you notice, boomed. What happened right after black business boomed? They said, girl, if you make $600 a year on Cash App, Zelle, anything like that, we got to tax you. Because they recognized, honey, that the black business, the black small business was becoming successful, but becoming independent of white jobs and things of that nature. We weren't worried about Billy Joe hiring us down to the mill. We didn't need them no more because we came up with a small business plan that was actually being successful. And because they wanted a piece of that. Again, when we look at credit, when we look at loans, it's harder for people of the minority class to get ahead, black and brown people. They did a study many years ago. They did an investigation up north. Come to find out, if you know the little box you check, are you black, white, non-Hispanic, all of that stuff. When you check those boxes on your credit applications, your loan applications, homeowners application, all of those things, you are going to be taxed more money. Your interest rates are going to be much higher if you are non-white. And those people got sued for those shady practices many years ago. And that is continuously happening on every aspect of life that we're living on right now. What kills me is that it's thousands of years later, and we still sit by idly. We can have all these discussions all day long. Honey, the white people get in their feelings, they run through the Capitol and nothing happens to them. Black people or brown people get in their feelings, we get shot and killed in the street. The question I have is what's going to be done? What's the action that's going to take place? Because we already recognize this disparaging fact. We've recognized this many moons ago. Now that we see it and it's on a much more sinister playing field, what are we really going to do about it? There are clauses in the Constitution that say, girl, if your government is not acting right or has the people's interest at heart, we can't overthrow the government. So why haven't we done that yet? Oh, my bad. It's because of all the stuff they put in this food that keeps us docile, that keeps our pineal glands as slaves. Because we're not waking up. So, y'all, we're going to continue to let the gas prices be normalized to go high like this. People getting evicted. There's no groceries. The food shortages at all-time high, girl. Can't nobody get no higher wages. This is where I ended at. How much longer do we sit by and allow ourselves to be slowly and swiftly push the hell on out of our own existence?
Well, who's the leader?
Who's the white supremacy? But white.
Who's leading us to be able to? Because I agree with everything you're saying. But who's going to lead us into making these things happen? Who's going to help us?
That's our problem. We're just like the white Jesus. Everybody thinks is going to save them. We think that there needs to be that one person. We thought Martin Luther King was going to do it. Malcolm X was going to do it. Girl, we need to do it. We need to take it into our own hands and do it. These white people can run through places, right, and handle it. These white people can do all of these things, and I know
But
that
they
we're not
had a
equal.
leader. They had a
We,
leader. Trump. He called them to action. So who's calling us to action?
sometimes we got to take things into our own hands. It's an end
I
of
think
this.
we're
Sometimes,
beyond needing to be called to action. I think that's antiquated. If we're waiting for someone, the Messiah, to lead us, we're gonna stay where we at.
girl, we're gonna be killed off slowly but surely, even faster. Hello. Because if you're
But
waiting,
until we
God
have,
is already. If we look at it from a religious aspect, right, we have all of the tools at our disposal. Black excellence is at an all-time high right now. Why? And a lot of our old black saviors too, in these high political situations, these politicians, these judges. Look at the homeboy that sits on the Supreme Court, one of the only black dudes on there. What did he say, girl? I'm with the white people. So obviously, we just because you look like me don't mean I can count on you to help me, honey.
well, that black excellence is an illusion.
Oh,
So
girl,
we
you better
need to
speak
stop
on it.
looking at, these are not our people. They have elevated because this is no longer about race to them. This is about class. And they have elevated to a class where we're not in our issues are not important to them because it doesn't affect them the same way. So when we say, oh well, we just need to take it upon ourselves, then we're
But the
scattered.
thing about it
We're
is, I'm sorry to
scattering
cut
like
you off.
roaches
But the thing
because
about it is,
without a
though, when
plan,
we
there's no
realize
organization.
if we stand up in the true unity and realize, because one of the big conversations I think all of this leads to is that they need us. We may be the 99% and they may be the 1%, but that's actually in our benefit. There's more of us that relate than them. So the question really is that why do you think they keep creating all this division and confusion within our communities, more specifically the black and brown communities? We're going to keep you poor because we want you focused on being poor and having all these issues and problems. We're not going to give you free healthcare because we want you to get sick and die, because we want you to be focused on your worries and your problems and not the real things at stake that actually are building up to destroy us on a major scale in the upcoming future.
Well, I want to push back, if I may, because I saw in the chat someone said we shouldn't need to be called to action. And I want to piggyback off of the event that you mentioned, the January 6th. I'm not sure who just mentioned that up here. And that is true. They went in, they didn't like what they saw. They stormed the Capitol, they raised hell, they 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 destroyed things, they broke the windows, they attacked police officers. But if we rewind further back when, what was his name? The black guy who, oh,
George Floyd.
yes, George Floyd. Well, I think the most outrage I saw is that some targets got destroyed, and then after that, there was a plethora of videos of black people recording white people mistreating them. A white person is being racist. What did the black people do? They pulled out their cell phones to record it. So when someone says, "Why do we need to be called to action?" Because they've disrespected us at every turn. They punked us at every turn and we have not responded. So people need to be called to action because they haven't done a damn thing yet.
Let me say, I'm gonna break it down because I know there's a lot of religious perspectives in the building. If we take the story of Moses and we really break it down, right? Why do you think God, even though the Pharaoh, even on the first time, was actually going to release Moses and the rest of the Hebrew slaves? He was actually going to release them. God hardened the Pharaoh's heart on multiple occasions. You know why he did that? He needed the slaves to realize their power and their independence. And the only way they were going to do that is if they met pushback. So I'm saying we find ourselves in a similar situation where I feel like, again, the tools are already there, right? I feel like the green light is already there. We've been pushed back. How much longer are we going to get pushed back? If we don't eventually fight, we will be gone. And I believe that anything that is against human progress, human dignity, human unity, that actually threatens our health, our well-being, our future, and our existence is against the law and should be met with force.
Well, we have been pushed back to your point because the minimum wage, someone put the federal minimum is 7.25. Although there are some states that have raised their minimum to $14. In some places, it's 15. If it's not 15 now, it will be upcoming. I saw that in the rollout. So we also know that the rent prices are going up and making it impossible for some people to live on their own while trying to pursue education, especially if you're a single parent. We understand that there is a serious need for criminal justice reform in this country. So when we say, oh, well, people just need to be met with resistance, we have been met with resistance. And I saw somebody put in the chat, we don't need a black man to lead us. I kind of agree with that. I'm not saying that a leader has to be of a specific gender, but who there has to be organization, even if we don't call it leadership. Who is structuring the organization? Because if we move without a plan, and if we move without being a unit, we will not succeed. It cannot be one, because if you want to strike a powerful blow, it takes many to form a mighty fist. So it's not,
Okay,
oh,
can I just,
sure.
sorry, I want to follow up on that. Like, instead of talking about a leader, how do we get these young people to care? Because I have so many cousins that's like 20, 28 to like, well, I should say like 22 to 28, and they are checked out completely. It's like politics is not even something they even consider. It's like they YOLOing out here. They don't care
You
about
answered
none
your
of
own
this stuff.
question. You answered your own question. You said, why do we need to talk about leadership? How do we get people to care? People will care if there is someone organizing and lead, because that's what a leader does. You inspire the people behind you. You lead by example. You encourage people to join your cause. People don't care because there is no leadership. Why would people care when
No,
there's
I mean, I like my family, like the older people in my family, like it's like the younger half and then there's the older half. Like the people that's like 35 and up to 60, they get it. We are telling them, we're in their face telling them this matters. You need to do this. Things are not going to be better for you as you get older. It's bad now and getting worse. And they're just like, whatever. They want to go and, ride around and get high, smoke, drink, whatever. They're just like partying. I'm like, how do you get the generation that's like all about being on your phone and, posting TikToks and whatever? How do you get them
I
we
That's
can
the
we
pay
can't
speak.
wait
greatest.
attention and
That
give a
until
is
they
the
damn?
turn
greatest
28 years old.
distraction.
I can.
But we can't wait until they turn 28. We should have been instilling that in them.
I
That's why
can.
I took civics when I was in high school. We had to take we had to take classes. These people are breezing through school, especially during the pandemic. These people aren't learning school. These kids don't even know how to write their name in cursive. I mean, we need to get back to homeschooling, teaching your children and instilling that in the home. We can't depend on teachers, especially teachers who don't have our best interests, to have the best interests of our children and teach them to give a damn about bettering our communities.
I can
It
speak
starts at
on.
home.
I can speak on the younger generation because I'm 23. So when it came to voting, it was always a when I turned 18, I can't wait to vote. That was my whole thing. I can't wait to vote. And I turned 18 during the election that would ultimately lead to this. I can say that if you have like family members who are like 28, about to go into their 30s, they are millennials. So I'm not sure how to speak to a millennial because even though I come in at the very tail end of that generation being born in 98, I see some of the things like kind of raised in some of the ways that millennials were raised, but I'm more with when you get down to it, you put me with Gen Z. And when it comes to that generation, there is no, oh, we don't want to do this, we don't want to do that. They are the ones leading the charge. They are the ones who are not putting up with this anymore. When it came down to January 6th and they were like, oh, more people voted, I was like, y'all forgot to think about all the people who had turned 18 right, like way before it was time to like actually go out and vote, who registered to vote. They don't want to put up with this anymore. They are not there when it comes to the white people. They're not their grandfathers, great grandmothers. They're some of them are not them, and they don't see it this way, and they don't want to live this way. Those are the main ones where it's just like, oh well, they want white women to have babies. They're talking about this new generation coming in. They don't want to do that. So they
Yeah, I
are
get that.
like,
They're like more, they love to say woke. But I'm saying, like, how do you reach the unwoke people that's not, black,
This is
a
this
lot
is
of black kids?
So
this
let me.
this was this was my biggest argument that I was trying to lead with. We're talking about generations and generations of social conditioning that has been heavily embedded into the human experience to the point where we're unconsciously, subconsciously, unknowingly adopting these horrible, 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 horrible things that white supremacy has embedded into our black communities. We're talking about something here that we're talking about being, again, I talked about the pineal gland being inhibited by aluminum and different products that they've put in the food. We talk about all these high rates of diabetes and cholesterol that befall the black community. If you don't think that that's not the sinister ultimate plot to keep us down, keep us weighed down, again, all of our personal problems weigh us more heavy. So that's why this younger generation and a lot of our generation, I'll be 35 next year, don't give a damn because on our scale, our problems have to come first. That's how they want it. If I distract you with all of these other issues that you have to worry about, how you gonna pay your car, how you gonna get a job, how you gonna feed your kids, you're not gonna be worried about what's going on in the world of the country. You're not
But
gonna have the strength to fight.
So
You're not gonna want to
but
fight.
wait, to bring the thing with Ricardo's point, I have to agree and I have to give pushback because there are a lot of younger people, and I know a lot of younger girls who really do care and are passionate about politics. A lot of young black women, I can honestly say that, who are very disheartened about what has taken place, and not just as of recent. I'm talking about even as the Trump election. I know a lot of girls who are on fire and have volunteered and are speaking out and are into politics. I don't know as many black men who are young
Yeah,
who
that's what
feel
my
the same
focus
way.
is more so black men, I should say.
But
Like
Well,
girls,
we don't know
we're
anything about,
usually
right. So can
but,
I speak from a teacher's perspective because some comments were made about about the education system. So let me say this from a teacher's perspective. Um, I agree. The bar has been lowered. The bar has been lowered a lot when it comes to our school system. But part of the disconnect with what's going on in our schools is that teachers and parents are no longer allies. When I first started teaching, parents were allies with us. We worked together. You know, if I called a parent and said, "Hey, your kid is cutting up," there was a conversation, there was a plan, there was an execution of that plan. Now it's always, "Well, what are you doing?" "Well, my child didn't do this." "Well, what did you say?" "Well, what did you?" And it's always a fight. It's always a, "Well, it's not my child, it must be you." And as far as the bar with what we're teaching in schools, again, I have to say that that again is where there's no that we're not allies. You know what I'm saying? The school boards are so afraid of parents suing and parents, the principals are afraid of the parents. The boards are afraid of the parents. And so we continue to lower the bar and lower the bar and lower the bar because the parents, instead of holding their children accountable for bad behavior and holding their children accountable for getting the work done and holding them to a standard, we just continue to lower the bar so we don't have to deal with, and I say we, I'm saying as school systems, we don't have to deal with the litigious side of it, and we don't have to deal with the parents. I mean, we literally have parents coming up to the schools wanting to fight people, and so,
then close the damn
we'll
school.
have a parent come up to a school wanting to fight over a cell phone, but it'll be that same parent we can't get to come to a parent teacher conference. So from a teacher perspective, we as a society, we have to get back to that mindset of like, we're not the enemy. Teachers are not the enemy. I'm not saying, and listen, are there bad teachers? Sure, they're bad doctors, they're bad lawyers, they're bad cops, they're bad firemen. But we're not, as a whole, we are not the enemy. And the other thing I want to say,
Oh, okay.
no,
Sorry.
I'm just one more point, and then I'll shut up. The other thing I wanted to say too is history has given us a unhealthy perspective of the civil rights movement. Because what we feel like, and I'm saying we, I'm not saying everybody on this panel, I mean in general, we feel like there was this grand movement where all the black people came together and overthrew and pushed through, and we overcame. And that's just not the reality. The reality is that the civil rights movement, it really was a small majority of black and white people. I also think we need to acknowledge the fact that if it were not for white people, and I'm gonna say specifically a lot of white Jewish people, there is no civil rights movement because they could get in spaces that we couldn't get in. They could, and I'm not saying that they made it happen. I'm not saying that, but their help, their them being allies to the movement was very helpful in us getting things done. And so I think when we say, "Oh, we have to," I think we're acting like it has to be all the black people have to come together. And no, it really wasn't that. Like a lot of those people traveled city to city and state to state with the leaders. It wasn't just Martin Luther King, but with the leaders to make things happen. They went all around the South because in a lot of times they couldn't get in. Birmingham is a perfect example. Martin Luther King went to Birmingham and he could not get anybody in Birmingham to come out and protest and march. He couldn't get them because they were so afraid of the systemic racism of losing their jobs, losing their homes, losing their cars, their kids getting kicked out of school. So what ended up having to happen was they pulled the kids out of school and it was a children's march. And that's where we see all of those famous pictures of the children being attacked and the fire hoses. So I don't want people to feel like it has to be this grand, oh, we all have to come together, because the reality is movements aren't made off of the majority. It really is made off of a loud minority.
I'm saying that it should come from organization because when you speak about Martin Luther King, that was a organization behind him. There was things were carefully thought out. The speeches were carefully written. There things were not just randomly done. There was thought put into it. It was organization, and it was done with tact. I don't see anything like that as of today. And when we speak about, because I agree with you, what you said about the children and the parents, and how there's a disconnect between the teachers and the parents. And I have to be honest, because I was considering teaching and I said, I'm not doing that with all the restrictions that they put, because me knowing what I would want to instill in children, because the best thing that you can do and the way that you pass on a legacy is teaching children to think critically on their own, even if they disagree with you. And because they have put so many regulations on what you can teach in regards to race, in regards to LGBT, in regards to, I mean, even home ec, the things that are not being taught or are being pushed to be taught. If we're not going to teach children properly, close the damn schools and make the parents do the education. Because what this sounds like is just a big daycare where you just send kids from 8 a.m. until 4:30, and they get out and then they go home and get on the game and they haven't learned a damn thing. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
I'd like to
But
jump
that's
in
but
really
that's
You
the
quick.
saw
grand
those.
but
You
that's the
saw
grand
those parents
design.
complain during the pandemic when school was closed. They wanted us to go back to school and open up the school and just die so that they wouldn't be inconvenienced by teaching their own kids. So I
Yeah, make
mean,
people raise their own kids.
I'd
Teach
like
them.
to jump in really quick. Because I know the conversation is about how to get the young people involved, and I'd just like to defend the young people really quickly. Um, this TikTok generation, the same way there are different sectors on YouTube, there are definitely different sectors on TikTok.
Hmm.
And these young kids are talking about racism. These young kids are talking about capitalism.
absolutely,
They've
Yes.
absolutely.
organized protests on TikTok in regards to the racist algorithms. They are involved. It may not be the traditional way that we are used to, but they are definitely involved. And I'd also
Right.
like to point out as well what happened a few years ago in Ferguson. Those people in that community were so impassioned by what took place with Mike Brown. They were in the streets and they refused to go home. The only reason why Black Lives Matter is a conversation today in any way is because of their sacrifices. Most of those people sacrificed their lives to make
Exactly.
people say Black lives do indeed matter. Now we know after the fact people came in to capitalize off of that movement, but that was a grassroots. They were in the streets.
I agree.
These people
I
are out
agree.
on their porches refusing to go in their homes, risking being arrested for martial law. Most of those images, like the infamous image of the guy with the dreads throwing that gas can, that man is dead. Most of those people that we remember from those images back then are dead. They sacrificed their lives speaking out on what was happening in Ferguson, Missouri. And they all were very young. That was not our grandparents, our mothers and fathers. Those were all people our age and younger doing that. And even more, just a quick reminder as to what happened in the summer of 2020. Once again, we witnessed the Black person being killed on camera. There was evidence
Mm-hmm.
as to what happened, and they were going to do what they always did, which was nothing. It was
That's right.
only when the Target got burned down, CNN
Mm-hmm.
got raided. They only respond to money. And we were making progress because of the multiple protests happening across the country and the entire world. The only reason why everybody calmed down is because they sent out stimulus checks to distract us. So I just want to remind everybody, when it comes down to it, this country only responds to money. We are appealing to the morality, and that is not what they care about. We need to
Environment.
come after the money. That is the that should be the focus.
I just
Right.
I would like to add when it comes to like quote unquote the social media generation, the TikTok generation, when you talk about how we're on there, I've seen so many things happen um just with different like black children, black women, it in the way that it's helped many people. A lot of people look down on social media and think that, you know, oh, social media is rotting the brains of, you know, the younger generation, but it's truly helped. And a lot of like the older generation, I'm not saying anybody up on here on this panel, but the older generation doesn't see it as a way to help, but it truly is. I've seen people on solve the cases of, you know, missing women and children, solve
Yes.
cases when it comes to family members who have been missing for so long and then turns out it was their family member who did that to them. I saw when Trump put out his app, it was a TikToker who had everybody go to the app and basically flood it to the point where the app got taken down, and they kept doing it and kept doing it until the app was completely gone from the app stores. Now I don't know if it's back now, but that was a TikToker who organized that. If you live in the state of Texas, I live in Kansas, so I'm gonna just say this: if you live in the state of Kansas and you know you haven't already registered to vote, you need to register by July 12th and August 2nd. And for the state of Missouri, because we both have the same dates for midterms, you need to go vote on August 2nd. And yes, abortion rights are on, you know, something we have to vote on. And it's basically a yes or no thing. I'm voting no. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but that's basically how it's going to go. But going back to TikTok, if you live in the state of Texas, there's an organization called the Hoochies of Houston. I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but they do
I
the
used to be a hoochie. I know all about being a hoochie. Hello.
but
Oh my
yeah, but
goodness.
I love it.
they do a lot of good, and they are out here spreading like the right information, and they are out here marching in the streets of Texas for women to have the rights to do whatever they want in their body. So if y'all do live in the state of Texas, for anybody who is, if you're on this panel, if you're watching it just to watch it right now, or if you're gonna catch this on the playback, y'all check them out. But when it comes to TikTok, and if you want to reach people and you want to send out your message, I advise y'all to really get on your social media tip, because it's not how it was in the past, where you know the only way to get this information out is through a newspaper or you know on the news. We now have social media, and social media with a click of a button can get you out there to millions and billions of people, not just in your country but all over the world.
I do want to speak to that real quick, though, as a fellow creator myself. I do commend and I do see a lot of stuff online and through different social media platforms where people are standing up, more specifically young people. Social media should be utilized as a tool and a great resource to help, get these stories and get these conversations out there. But unfortunately, in the world of algorithms, myself particularly, whenever I have social justice commentary, it gets a lot of times shadow banned.
And this
Um, uh,
is, I don't
and
even
all the information you're speaking about, a lot of times that information is very limited before either it gets scrubbed from the internet, you can't find it, it might still be posted, but it'd be hard to get access to it. That's why a lot of times these conversations become very limited in the smaller communities because they're washing it away every time we post, whatever your
Yeah.
title is, whatever your hashtags are, if it has anything to do with speaking up and speaking out against, the things that are going on in this world, in this country, in our lives on a serious level, they're scrubbing it clean and they don't want you to have access to it.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, I gotta say it.
What?
He
I
gotta
gotta go,
go. It's
y'all.
late.
This
I
was
gotta
a
Oh
go.
yeah, I gotta
great
go.
conversation, but I
Yeah.
am tired and I am ready to go to bed. Okay. I gotta get up
Well,
at
thank
Well,
you,
six
Scotty,
Miss
for
in the
opening up
Scotty,
this
morning.
thank you for letting
panel.
us
It was
come
a
on
great
here and run our
conversation.
mouths.
We ain't
Yes,
gonna
I
solve
was.
the problems of the world tonight, but it was a great conversation to
Yeah.
get people thinking.
Yes, it
Yeah, we
was
need a
like
part
this
two,
was.
Scotty.
I think I do. I think I do. I was thinking about that while we was up here because I got off work a little late and I wasn't expecting it to go for this long. But I let y'all. I gave y'all the steering wheel. Let y'all talk. But I was like, child, I'm falling asleep now because baby, I got to get up at 6 in
Oh,
the
I was getting
morning.
ready to get off in a few
Yeah.
minutes myself because
I gotta I gotta film some stuff tomorrow before they come due. Hopefully I get it done before they finish the renovations on the bathroom. But I'ma just say this so then we can leave it at that. If you're not already registered to vote and you are legally able to vote, register. If you don't know the dates of your midterm elections or the runoff elections, go to Ballotpedia. It'll tell you everything that's being voted on, the people, it gives you a breakdown. Everything you need to know is up there. Please go and vote because at this point, it's looking real trailer park out here, and I
Oh,
can't do this no more.
America is the
Yeah, and
ghetto.
that's what
It's
another
not.
thing
No,
I
it's
need to
not.
find out where I need to vote for in Texas because I know I got to get my license switched over tomorrow, and I know I seen something on Facebook about new Texas residents. I got all the information they need. I just need to know exactly if I need to go to the courthouse or because Texas is
That's
goddamn that's a big ass
everybody.
state.
oh
Go find
well.
out. Polling places get moved all the time. Go and find out all that
Mm-hmm.
information if in your state.
Okay, then thank y'all so much because yeah, this I know Texas is a big red state, but I mean,
if you go to vote.org, it has everything. It has every state. You just put in what state you live
Yeah.
in. It'll tell you everything about what the primaries, the dates of the primaries. It'll let you check your registration and make sure that you haven't been dropped. That nothing funny happened to your registration. It'll help you if you're not registered. It'll show you what you need to do to register. It tells you what dates you need to be registered by. Vote.org is the
Yeah.
best resource
okay,
that
thank
out
y'all
there.
because I don't want them to be like, oh nah, I got papers in the lease. I've been in Houston, Texas a year in July. Give me my damn shit so I can vote.
Yeah. Vote.org. Vote.org is one of the main places I go, and then I say Ballotpedia just because they break down everybody who like they give you a list of everybody in your state who is running for a seat,
They're all
and
the
then
devil.
and
I'm
then
Okay.
sorry. You have
the
a good night, y'all.
not the
Bye,
devil,
YB.
not the
Okay,
devil,
y'all. Thank y'all
but
so much. I'm gonna
Good
definitely do
night,
that. I just gotta
y'all.
get my license changed over because they're expiring this month. But I took a day out work to do all of that so I could get everything done. But good night, y'all. Y'all have a
yes.
good
Good
one.
night,
Love you, and
Good
Good
I
night,
night.
I can't wait for
everybody.
your next review, Scotty.
All right,
And
no
All
problem.
right,
and before I
bye.
go,
Good
Scotty,
night.
can you please tell me when you're going to be doing the next? Hopefully on Saturday or Sunday you'll be doing Love and Marriage Huntsville because that was my first time coming up. Remember,
Mhm.
I'm the one that defended Miss Wanda, and I still feel like we got some more business to unpack.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Huh?
I said you have a good night. I can't wait to talk to you again.
All right. Thank you. You have a good night too. And that is it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live. I hope you guys had a great, felt great about this conversation. Listen, the fact of the matter is Scotty by Nature TV is very versatile. Okay. I can give you the mess, I can give you the laughs, but I can also sit back and have deep indecent combos like this. Like I want to be able to give more than just the same old ratchet commentary that I always give. I also want to give people something to talk about, as I've shown in the past with the whole mental health panel, the colorism panel. I've done it all before. So there are different sides to Scotty by Nature TV, just to let the people know. So thank you guys for tuning in. I definitely appreciate it. I think the next time you see me will probably be for my Love and Marriage Huntsville video tomorrow. That's probably the next time you see me. I don't know if I'm going live or not. I'm trying to debate on whether or not it's going to be a live review or pre-recorded review. So I'm just trying to figure that out. But with that being said, y'all, I am about to get up out of here, about to take a shower and go my ass to bed. And I will talk to you guys later. All right. Peace out. And I'm out of here. Till next time, holla.